Okay, you you use Li, and you use Aqua, use Monica, and I think and you carry Monica's pigments on your store, right?
I do. Yes.
Um, so they are iron oxide. So let's talk about the term. All right, I was
Yeah.
poking at you a little bit before we started the podcast. So Monica Vani's pigments, Aqua, Velvet,
Hmm.
they are what most artists in the industry refer to as iron oxides. But
Yes.
when you're talking to a chemist, right? Because I talk
Uh-huh.
to the chemist at LI quite often, and most chemists refer to iron oxides as inorganics. So there's
Mhm.
organics and inorganics, and most chemists do refer to them as an inorganic. They don't really say iron oxide, they say inorganic. But us artists say iron oxides predominantly.
Mhm.
Some say
Mhm.
use the term inorganic, but mostly I see them saying iron oxides. But
Mhm.
you and a few others I've been noticing lately, I see this new term for iron oxides and
Mm.
organics popping up, mineral pigments. Yeah. So I'm just, and it's not wrong. I'm just curious, like where did that term pop up from? Like who started using that, and where did that term pop up from?
Do you want my honest answer? I actually don't know where it came from, but I was doing a Q&A on my Instagram story and people just kept asking about mineral pigments. And
Yeah.
so I was like, okay, let me figure out what this mineral pigment everyone is talking about because I always called it iron oxide. I've learned that term from you, from other people,
Yeah.
from using
Yeah.
Li pigments. It's always been called iron oxide. But yes, I had to learn myself and start Googling that people are calling it mineral as well
Mineral as
and
well.
inorganic.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to get to the bottom of this and find out where that came from. Like who started that?
Oh, it's like people maybe are just so scared of iron oxide pigments because of over the years, maybe some people didn't know how to use them
Yeah,
on certain skin types. And
right.
so colors were shifting to not unwanted colors on certain skin types. And I think even for myself, I made that same mistake. But now using Li pigments for so long, and really going through that research and figuring out who is right for what color, I'm getting such beautiful results
Yeah.
with my iron oxide slash mineral pigments.
Yeah, no, I love that you say that because me too. I've been using Li Aqua, and I use we came out with an organic line about 4 years ago, loaded. So we have like an iron oxide line, and we have Aqua, and and Monica's pigments are predominantly iron oxide as well, and then we have loaded, which is organic. And I think
Yeah.
that's what's not being like really talked about is when is it when a client is going to do better, right, with an
Hmm.
iron oxide, and when a pigment, maybe is going to, when a client might do better or just as well with an organic pigment. Because I think iron oxides do much better. They're more stable. They age better. They're going to do better with the majority of skin types. And I think
Hmm.
organics are a little bit more limited.
Yeah.
I do. I really, really do. And Li, we have both. We
Yeah.
have both organic and iron oxides. And you do
Mhm.
learn that the hard way through,
Oh, yes, we sure did.
right? We really, really do. But so yeah, I like that term. So we got minerals. Well, it was like, a lot of young artists, when the industry started getting younger. When I started, Lily, the average age was like 45 years old entering
Oh
permanent
my
makeup.
gosh.
Yeah, and now it's like 21 or 22. Now we got young people entering PMU. So it's a much younger industry. And it's worldwide now, because of the internet.
Yeah.
It's just growing, really fast, and it's really evolving. And I mean, we've seen needles, new names being designated to needles. Like it was never called a nano needle, you just called it a
Mhm.
0.25, right? So,
Yeah.
we're seeing all these new terms enter our industry So yeah, I just thought that was interesting, the mineral pigment. So I like it. I'm okay with the term
It is
mineral
super
pigments.
interesting.
Yeah. Look, if you're
It's
cool.
actually very interesting because, like you said, the younger crowd, they actually have no idea what iron oxide is and what Li pigments is. They
Really?
actually only know carbon and they only know organic pigments. They don't actually, some people don't actually know that there is another option, which
Right.
is super interesting now as we're teaching more and more and that younger crowd we're getting, in Canada it's 18, so we have 18-year-olds coming in to take our class and they don't even know that there is such thing as iron oxide pigments.
Right. And that's sad because I think both are equally as valuable and important to the artist and to the work, right?
Hmm.
Very much so. There are definitely some skin types that are not going to do well with an organic. That organic pigment has a high propensity to heal gray or turn gray. Like on the
In
ruddy,
your opinion, what skin type?
like ruddy, like
Hmm.
skin that has a high propensity of pulling gray, like the
Yeah.
ruddy skin types,
Hmm.
those skin types that are really super pink, sun damaged
Hmm.
skin. Those skin
Yeah.
types that really pull gray, they ash out pigments. I would never use an organic on those skin types. And I make an organic, we make an organic.
Yeah.
And that's due to the carbon
Yeah.
used in organic pigments. So if you're using like a blonde or a mid-tone color that has no black in it, then you're probably okay. But when you're getting into like some of these mid-tones or darker pigments where now they have black carbon in them to get them that
Hmm.
dark, no, I would never use those on those skin types that pull gray. I am absolutely going to use an iron oxide.
Yeah.
And I'm not really comfortable using organics on really young clients because those
Oh,
organics have a propensity to maybe stay too long, too long.
yes.
And young people change their mind a lot. They change their style, they change their mind. And so I'm more prone to use an iron oxide that's going to leave the skin in 2 or 3 years on someone really, really young rather
Hmm.
than an organic that might last too long for someone
Hmm.
really, really young. So I probably use iron oxides probably 70% of the time, and I use
Hmm.
organics probably 30% of the time
Hmm.
in my own
Yeah, I
work.
love that. I love
Yeah.
that. And it is true because I do have a lot of the younger clientele, and now the brows are changing. Brows are becoming thinner. People want higher up tails, like more
Yes.
upturned, more
Yeah.
straight.
Yeah.
And the brows that I had tattooed with carbon 2, 3 years ago, they don't want those tails anymore, and they're kind of stuck with that.
They're stuck with
And
that.
so,
That's right.
yeah,
That's
they're
right.
stuck with that.
But, and it's going to take, because you're in that younger generation, right? You're a part of
Mhm.
that. And so it's going to take you and a lot of, really good artists and educators in that age group, to educate. Don't be
Yeah,
afraid of organics and don't discount organics, but don't be afraid of, mineral pigments and discount them. The artist needs both in order to do really good work and their best work on all the different clients that come to them, right? That's how I feel.
absolutely.
That's how I've always felt. I've never been one or the other.
Yeah.
I think there's, a face and a place, I like to say, for organics and for iron oxides. So I love that
Mhm.
you're talking about it and you're educating. I do get asked to collab. I'm not like a part of like the young generation, but they know who I am and I communicate with them and I have fun with them online and sometimes I get asked to do lives and so I feel that I feel that I'm relative to the young artists, right? I don't think they see me as she's an old veteran and she's like bitter and she's like too set in her ways. I don't think they see me like that, which is
No.
cool,
Yeah.
And to stay young, hip, and fresh, I mean, you got to know all these new terms, Lily,
All these new terms every day. Hey,
Yeah.
I'm still getting caught off
Yeah,
guard with these new terms all the time.
yeah. So I want to be young, hip, and fresh for a long time. So I have to stay up on all these new terms, and I got to hang out with you and young artists, right? For sure.
Absolutely. You can hang out with us anytime.
I love it. I love it.